Did you know that more than half of the teenagers by the age of 18 have had sex or are experienced with sex? Did you know that 99% of these teenagers have used some sort of birth control? Now, how many of these sexually experienced or active teens actively take measures to have safe and protected sex? Percentages say 37%, which is quite a low number actually. And the reason for this low number isn't because we are uneducated, because there are classes, programs, assemblies, and many resources available to us to educate us. Instead, the reason for these low percentages are merely because people do not have any means to buy these kind of products. In some stores, you have to personally go ask a cashier for condoms. This doesn't even make any sense because there is no law whatsoever stating that we cannot buy condoms. There is no age limit. Wouldn't this make you feel uncomfortable? Having to go up, ask somebody you barely know, especially as a teenager, for condoms. That is just introducing them to the fact that they know you're going to have sex. That is enough to make anybody feel awkward. And if you don't feel comfortable enough to go buy condoms, you're going to be tempted into having unsafe sex. Unsafe or unprotected sex leads to unwanted pregnancies, and unwanted pregnancies lead to abortions. Now, if we put free condoms in a nurse's office or public health bathrooms, we would be giving people an option to have a say in their life. First of all, teens are teens. You can raise them whatever way you want, and sometimes that works. But there are times where they rebel. They don't do what they say. You can instill that sex as a teen is wrong, and that sex instead should be safe for marriage, but it doesn't always work. The best thing to do for your child at this point is to make sure that they know that they are loved and there are safe ways to do it. Condoms, right? As I mentioned before, teens might feel uncomfortable asking or going to buy condoms. For example, at the dollar store in my town, in the health section, there is a row of tabs at the very top of the shelf where condoms should be. Upon further inspection, you will see that these tabs actually have slips of paper taped to them that say, "Ask cashier for condoms." Now, again, considering there is no age limit, this doesn't make any sense. Why can't we grab them off the shelf and pay for them, like at any other store? Secondly, for people who oppose this idea, you have two choices. You can let your child or children have safe sex and let them control their life, or you can deal with them being an unplanned teen mother or father. For example, a teen might have the desire to have intercourse, but again, they are too embarrassed to go ask for condoms. Then they decide, it's okay, we don't have to use condoms, we're not going to get pregnant. A month later, the girl is pregnant with a baby she didn't want, and she doesn't have the means to take care of it, so she aborts it. Now, if you are pro-abortion, you won't see a problem with this. You personally won't see a problem with the number of abortions that happens in a year, which is approximately 40 to 50 billion. However, if there are condoms put in the nurse's station or in public health offices, teens have access to protection without feeling the need to be embarrassed getting them. This equals less unplanned pregnancies, which equals less abortions. In conclusion, I hope we can work on something such as this idea so teens can have somewhat of a better chance of having control over their life. Just think back to when you were a teenager. Would something like this have helped you? I think it would have. Now why don't we give our teens, our children, a chance to have the same opportunity?